Peace, 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 love, harmony, and light. Hey, what's up, world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let me just make sure that audio is good. All right, beautiful. All right, audio is good. I'm just going to give you guys some time to chime in to this live feed. So hope everyone is having a great day so far. It's a beautiful day out here in NYC. Today was actually beautiful. It wasn't cold. It wasn't hot. It was actually comfortable. It was comfortable. But this evening, we have a few things to discuss. We have actually a beautiful live this evening. It's a lot of, I'm going to disseminate a lot of information. I'm certainly sure you guys are aware of a lot of things, but it's always good to put things in perspective and kind of get things from, different ethnicities, different cultures. A lot of our people are still lost and are still caught up on the whole African American thing, and we are Africans and all that. But for me, I like to show and prove and give you guys stuff that you could research. So really, I literally like to make sure that you could get that information and literally prove things. Don't take my word for it. So I'm going to give you guys some more time to chime into this live feed. I know so far we only have about 7 people watching. So let's give some people some time. Please, if you don't mind, I appreciate your patience. Appreciate your patience once again. Just acknowledging my father's spirit. Much love to you, Dad. I know that you're here in spirit, always looking down on me. So travel safely, man, on your next journey. I appreciate you. I love you. All right. Yes. Trey Young, peace and love, peace and love. All right. Cool, 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 cool. I mean, I'm not gonna, wait too long, because I guess whoever missed the beginning of this, they will have to catch the replay of that. All right. So I know we have a lot of haters out there. So y'all gonna continue to hate. It doesn't make a difference. Like I said before, you can't help yourself. That's just your nature, and you will continue to perish. So I'm only here for the righteous people and people who are ready and willing to step up and make some positive moves. All right. I'm gonna let nature deal with the rest in terms of the negativity and the negative people. All right. We're gonna talk about a few things today. More so this live feed. Hey, Olivia, what's up, family? This live feed is gonna deal more so. Can you guys hear me? Just to make sure. I need to know if you guys can hear me. Let me get a thumbs up or a yes on that. If you can, I would appreciate that. If I could get a little response on that. Helito family. All right, beautiful. I appreciate that. El Gato de Tierra. All right, good. We good. All right, perfect. Okay, so in this live feed, we're going to talk about a few things. Okay. We are back on our American Aborigine talk. Okay, American Indian. We as the original people of this land. And, I got to say that I'm one of the first few people who literally started doing videos talking about us being American Indians. And even, when I had my, I had a picture, well, it wasn't a picture, it was a video, and people was actually taking what you call a snapshot of my picture from the video and make fun of me. Oh man, he think he's an American Indian. Oh, we Africans, we this and that. And everybody was making a lot of fun. Now look, there's an entire community, okay, an entire movement of people that know that we are American Aborigines. So I know that everything that I did, it wasn't in vain, because I could truly say that I'm one of the pioneers that first started literally bringing that information out there to the masses. So I'm grateful for that. And thank you to you guys for continuing to just dig into the information and doing your own research. So in this video, I'm going to, again, prove to you, all right, that we are not Africans, that we were already here. I'm going to prove to you again. And we also going to talk about slavery, and we're going to talk about jurisdiction, and we're going to talk about consent. Those are a few things I think it's very important that the people know that information, because it's imperative that we as a people, we get back into our rightful place, our rightful status. Okay. And again, this journey, is for everyone. Yes. But only the righteous people are going to make it to the end. And that is the truth. So for all you haters out there, man, go kick rocks, eat rotten eggs, and whatever you got coming to you, you got coming to you. Okay. You people are filled with hate. Your heart is poisoned. And guess what? You're just going to disappear, man. So galan, all right? But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an article. I'm going to share my screen with you because a lot of people are still convinced, or they have convinced themselves that we are Africans, okay? And they don't believe that we are American Aborigines. They don't believe that we have always been on this landmass called America from time immemorial, okay? They still think that we came from a boat, or, slaves came here on a boat from Africa. They still believe that. Okay, you still have Pan-Africanists, okay? They still believe that. You still have the RBG people. They still believe that. And I am not here to knock anybody. Okay, please don't think that's what I'm doing. But I just want you to know that these people are misguided. Okay, and that agenda of pushing the original people of this land out of their home through paper genocide, okay, through mass media, okay, it's well planned. You have to believe that. So I'm going to share an article with you that came out in, I think, the Huffington Post. Maybe the more information I give you guys, the more you will really look into your family background, look into your lineage. Now, once again, all right, do not get me wrong. I am not saying that we may not have some type of African ancestry. Okay, we may as well, because they did come into our land and mix with our people. Just like how a lot of us may have some Caucasian blood in us because of some people fell in love. Okay, that was natural. Some of it was done through force, rape. Okay, and that's just the truth. Okay, but people seem to forget their American ancestry because they were not taught about that. So my job is to let you get back in touch with your American ancestry, let you know that this land is ours. We have always been here. And the reason why they want to detach us from the land is through a concept called the doctrine of discovery. If it doesn't belong to anybody, then I discovered it, then it's mine. And that's how they could lay a claim to the land, because the original people are not in their proper status. So they have no claims to the land. It is considered abandoned land until we actually step up in our rightful place and make such claims. So my job is to really get to the bottom of this and get the righteous people together so we could do what we need to do. So once again, we have no time for the haters. I know they are literally looking at the videos, digging the information, but because they are so hateful, they're going to dislike. But like I said, I'm not paying attention to that. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and let's get into this article real quick. Give me a second. Okay, so this is an article, okay, the Huffington Post. For those of you who don't know about the Huffington Post, it's a real popular, website that does articles. Now, whether this is legitimate or not, I can't call it, but I know, based on what I know, the Huffington Post is a credible, online, magazine. So this is what it is. All right. It says the controversial role that no one wants Beyonce to play. Some of you may have heard about this, some of you may not, but I am going to get into this. So it reads, earlier this week, it was reported that Beyonce wants to write, direct, and star in a film about the life of Satji Sarah Batman. I'm certainly sure you guys may have heard of Sarah Batman's story. If you haven't, then this is an opportunity that you could take some time to get yourself familiar with it. However, it reads, the backlash over this news was immediate and furious. Less than a day after reports, Beyonce rep told Billboard, Beyonce is no longer way tied to this project. This is an important story that could be told. However, it's unclear whether the harsh criticism killed the pop singer's project. Nonetheless, the controversy has sparked significant conversation because to understand the controversy, we have to discuss who Batman was and ultimately who Beyonce is not. Before there was a Destiny's Child curves embracing anthem Bootylicious, there was Batman, a South African woman infamous in the 1900s or in the 19th century Europe for her exotic physical features, including a large buttocks, which were paraded around in freak shows in London and Paris, known as the Hottentot Venice on stage. She came to represent Europe's view of Africans as sexually primitive and racially inferior. Some of you, like I said, may have learned or may know of her story, but if you don't, then please research that, okay? She's South African. When I heard about B's new project, I was shocked. On the one hand, the personally tragic and historically significant story of Batman deserved to be told. But is a pop star, even a huge one like Beyonce, the right person to tell it? The response seemed to be a resounding no, most notably from a South African chief. Now, a South African chief is saying that Beyonce is not the right one to play the role. Let us, because it gets really interesting. Okay, she lacks the basic human dignity to be worthy of writing Sarah's story, let alone playing the part. Now, a chief is saying that. Chief Jean Burgess of Go-Nakwa First Peoples told News 24, why Sarah Batman? Why not a story about an Indigenous American woman? I can only see arrogance in her attempt to tell a story that is not hers to tell. Now, if you really take a look at this information in quotations right here, the man is clearly saying that Beyonce is not an Indigenous African. Okay, that's from a chief. Now, I would think a chief of the First Peoples Nation, he would know about his blood lineage. He would know about his people. Okay, and I'm certainly sure that you know that the term indigenous is synonymous with Aborigines. So if we are the Aborigines of the Americas, okay, what does that mean? It means that we are also indigenous to the Americas. Now here Beyonce, a pop star, one of the biggest in the world, I might add, I think she is willing to play the part. Now that should be an honor. But here you are, a chief is saying, this is what the man is saying in quotation, okay? The man is saying here, she lacks the basic human dignity to be worthy of writing Sarah's story, let alone playing the part. The man is saying that, I mean, just by her writing the story about Sarah Batman, Beyonce doesn't even have the human dignity. That alone in itself is a disrespect. But Chief Jean Burgess of Ganakwa First Peoples told News 24, why Sarah Batman? Why not a story about an Indigenous American woman? In essence, the man is saying, the chief of that nation is saying, why not play one of your people? You are not one of us. Now, if I'm misquoting the man, then, you know, my humble apologies. But what I could see here, again, is based on interpretation. You see what I'm saying? That why not play an Indigenous American woman? I can only see the arrogance. He's thinking that she's arrogant, okay, in wanting to write and play the role of Sarah Batman because Beyonce is not African. Now, if we were Africans, then he would have been or should have been honored that one of the Africans who got taken from the continent is willing to play such a role, write, direct it, to honor Sarah Batman. But he thinks it's disrespectful because Beyonce is not an Indigenous African. She's an Indigenous American. So here you go. A lot of us are thinking that we are Africans, but real Africans know that we are not Africans. So once again, the proof is in the pudding. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I'm going to continue to read a little bit more. It says, I agree that this narrative, which is so ingrained in South African history and heritage, deserves the nuance and insight that perhaps only a South African would be equipped to tell. But beyond the cultural understanding that Beyonce may or may not be lacking, my issue with the thought of her playing Batman is this: Beyonce doesn't look anything like her. Okay, it says, that may seem superficial, but Batman was the woman who was violated, abhorred, and ultimately ruined because of her looks. And to have Beyonce play her is not only problematic, but insulting to Batman's memory. If Beyonce, light-skinned and curvy to a socially acceptable level, had actually gone through with this project, she would also be taking the role away from a South African actor of a certain body type and image with few acting opportunities in the first place. All right. So once again, I might be taking this article out of context, but it is left to the reader's own perception of what they're reading. So I'm going to come back to the live feed and ask you guys, what do you think about that? Am I taking this thing out of context, or am I reading into it correctly? And I'm asking you guys that. It's a question. So I'm hoping that you could, help me out here. Am I taking this out of context? Is the man really saying that? Because for me, just using the word indigenous, okay, I could have gotten it if he had said, well, you know what? Let us just give the role to a born African woman, even if Beyonce is a descendant of African people. At least let us give the role to a born African. Why did he have to use the term indigenous? Why shouldn't or why can't Beyonce play an Indigenous American woman? Why did he have to use that term? Again, to me, it is saying that we are not your people and you are not our people. And once again, I am not trying to put a rift between people on the African continent and we on the American continent. This is not what it's about. It's about us stating our political status and our claim as who we are. Okay? Once again, may I add, I have said this before. People are people. Yes. There are people in the world that was created in the likeness and image of the Creator. However, there are different species of people. Just like how there are trees and different species of trees. Just like how there are animals and different species of animals. So therefore, we are a different phenotype. We are a different genotype than our Negroid African brothers and sisters. And they know that we are not of their land. We are not of their soil. We are not indigenous to Africa. Now, some of you may be. Now, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I know that I'm an American Indian. But you have to know for you. That's why it's important to look into your family background. Now, a lot of us run into a stumbling block, okay, because of paper genocide. Because these people knew who we were and they still know who we are. They put mechanisms in place, okay, to take away, in other words, to make us extinct on paper. That's called paper genocide. And who was one of the culprits that played a major role in that paper genocide was Walter Ashby Plecker. If you haven't heard of Walter Plecker, I would like you to research Walter Plecker, okay? Because at some point, being an Indian was actually a nationality, okay? Indians were and are a race of people. However, they made it illegal or unlawful, okay, to put that you're an Indian on the census. So they changed it to Negro. So a lot of our ancestors got put in jail. They got, lynched, murdered, just by saying that they are Indians. So literally they had to knock the Indian out of us. But grandmother and great-grandmothers and grandfathers always gave us a little clue. They always said, well, baby, you have a little Indian in you. That was just the breadcrumb so that you could do your own research, so that you could find out that you are the original Indian, and that's who we are. Now, some people may argue, well, they gave us the name Indian. Okay, so be it. All right? The truth of the matter is the treaties that were put in place to protect us and to give us back what's ours, it was done, and those treaties were created under whether it's maybe a misnomer or whatever you want to call it, under the term Indian. So it's lawful, okay, to identify ourselves as Indians because that's who we are. Now, once again, I could only speak for myself. I can't speak for you. But the information in itself is public information, and it's there. So you do the research and look at the information yourself. You have to ask yourself again, why are we the only ethnic group, okay, in the entire world whose identity has changed at least 7 times? A true African has always been a true African. Granted that they have, of course, they have nationalities such as Nigerian, okay, Ghanaian, all these different countries in Africa. The point of the matter is they are still of the African continent, okay? Why is it that the people of the American continent, particularly North America, particularly in the United States, why are they changing our identity so often? It is because they don't want you to know the truth of who we are. Because if we do, then by right, lawfully, we have a claim to our birthright, which is the soil, the land. But the only way for them to keep it in trust for themselves is if they keep you misclassified. So the longer you people continue to stay out of status, is the longer you would stay without your inheritance. It is that simple. It is that simple. I cannot explain it any other way. All right? It is right there in black and white. You don't have to believe me. Go research it yourself. Okay? I am just giving you the information. Now, with that being said, again, that came from a chief. Now, for you to tell me the chief don't know what he's talking about, obviously, if he is a chief of the first people in that particular part of Africa, okay, that means he knows about bloodline. So if he's telling you these people are not of our bloodline, okay, they are not Africans. So why would they want to play such a significant figure who's a South African? To him, that's disrespectful, okay? And he was being blunt and honest, and I respect the honesty. I'm not mad at him, okay? You see, our people are always trying to be what they are not, So that is the question. Somebody asked, how did I become a chief? Well, I was born a chief. I hope that helps. So with that being said, it came from the mouth of a chief. So you have to know who you truly are. All right. So let us get into the whole narrative of slavery, right? Because a lot of our people are still under the impression that we came here on slave boats, right? Now, if it was said that Okay, so give me a second. Let me just block this this, because I don't have time for the interruptions right now. Okay, I'm here to teach and not to play games with people. All right. So people think once again that we came here on boats, right? So when was it said that slavery started in the United States? It started in the 1600s, right? Now it was said that supposedly that we were or would go into slavery for 400 years. Now you do the math, right? If slavery started in the 1600s, now if you add 400 to 1600, what do you get? You get what? Added to this present time, what do you get? It means that we are still in supposed slavery, right? Because it started in 1619 when the first slaves supposedly came into Jamestown, Virginia. So if you add 400 years to that, it comes up to what, 2019, right? So supposedly we are still in slavery. So once again, may I remind you that the slavery is voluntary. Okay, you are volunteering yourself as a slave. Nobody is forcing you to do it. You are doing it of your own free will. But again, it is done on paper with your signature, with the birth certificate. That was the form of slavery. It was done on paper. We were not slaves physically. As a matter of fact, our ancestors owned slaves. And I'm talking about slaves in every complexion, every ethnicity. And it was said that Thomas Jefferson was the one who abolished slavery. That's not true. That is not true. It was actually the Cherokee Nation amongst a few other nations that abolished slavery. So you see, the stories are not being told correctly. Okay? So you have to really understand what's really going on here. All right? We are enslaved right now, but it's voluntary. Okay? You are the one that's giving consent to your own enslavement. All right? So let us go. Now that you know, the slavery wasn't really physical. It wasn't physical. Yes, slaves and slavery existed in the United States. But the truth of the matter is, our ancestors were the ones who owned the majority of the slaves. Okay, it was a business. Unfortunately, yes, I got to keep it real. But it was the Cherokee Nation, along with a few other nations, that abolished slavery. It wasn't Thomas Jefferson. He got the credit for it, but it wasn't him. Okay? So let's go look at the term consent, because like I said, you are the one consenting to what's called slavery right now. Okay? All right, let us, I'm going to share my screen again. Let us go look at the Black's Law Dictionary definition of consent. All right? And those words are very important because you see, that's what's getting a lot of people trapped. Okay, they give consent and they don't know that they're giving consent. It says, what is consent? A concurrence of wills. Express consent is that directly given, either lyra, vos, or in writing. Implied consent is that manifested by signs, actions, or facts, or by inaction or silence, which raise a presumption that the consent has been given. And of course, they have a court case here. But the reason why I'm bringing up that term, consent, is because a lot of us give consent, okay, and we don't know. All right. Sometimes, take for instance, I'm gonna give you a typical example. When a police officer pulls you over, okay, whenever you speak to a police officer, you are entering into a contract, okay, you are giving consent. When you get a citation, what's called a ticket is not a bill to pay a debt. A ticket is an invitation. Okay, a ticket is an invitation. You have to realize that. It's like it's actually called soliciting. It's like going down walking down the block, and someone gives you an invitation to a party, a flyer. Now you have a choice to go to the party or not. It is the same thing with a ticket, what they call a violation. When you get a ticket, it is not a bill, it is not a debt. However, it's an invitation, it's a form of solicitation. All right, let me block this individual again, because like I said, we have a lot of haters out here, and they are only here to disturb and cause confusion. But we are not going to allow them to do that. All right, we're not going to allow them to do that. Okay, we're going to continue to move forward, and we're not going to allow negative energy to. I just did. Yeah, we're not going to allow negative energy to infiltrate what we are doing, because like I said, some people were born and came here and manifested here to cause distraction and confusion. And unfortunately, it's the people who look just like you and I. And that's why I say everybody's not my brother and everybody's not my sister. That is the truth of the matter. And that's why I don't deal with the color of skin. I deal with people based on their hearts and their state of mind, how righteous they are. Okay? So again, getting back on track, talking about consent. The only reason why we end up in these predicaments with the legal system is because we consent. So whenever you get a ticket, a citation, again, it's an invitation to come to a party. Okay? Now, what's the party? The party is the court. You don't have to go if you don't consent. And that's lawful. That's the truth. Okay? So a citation and a ticket is not a bill. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to. It's an invitation, feathers up. Okay? It's an invitation to go to a party. The party is called a court. It's a venue. But if you do not consent, then you have no contract. So be very mindful again. Slavery, slaves do exist on paper. Your name in all capital letters is the slave. It is not you. It is a slave to the system. Once again, I have said that before, but I'm going to reiterate. What they did was, when your mother had this brand new baby, that was a live baby, what they had to do, they had to create the birth certificate, which is actually a death certificate. The birth certificate is actually a death certificate. That's how they were able to kill the live baby and create a fictitious baby on paper. Okay? So I hope that's making sense. The birth certificate is not a birth certificate, my brothers and sisters. It is a death certificate where they put you in capstones in capital letters. And that is what you have been representing your entire life. Okay? You are representing an entity that's not you. It is a fictitious entity. It is not real. It only exists in paper, on paper, in a fictitious world. What you have to know this, and this is true, that the court, they cannot put a man or a woman in jail. They could only put a fictitious entity in jail. That's why when you go to court, you have to put up your hand and say that this is you. And they know this. But and that's you giving consent. That is you giving consent. You are acknowledging that this fictitious entity is you. So therefore, seeing that you take up the responsibility, the ownership of that fictitious entity, then you are the one paying the consequences for that fictitious entity. I hope that makes sense. All right. Another word we're going to look at is jurisdiction. All right. Let us go look at the term jurisdiction. Let me share my screen again. Okay, we're going to go to Black's Law again. What is jurisdiction? Okay, I'm reading right here. Jurisdiction, the power and authority constitutionally conferred upon or constitutionally recognized as existing in a court or judge to pronounce the sentence of the law or to award the remedies provided by law upon a state of facts, proved or admitted, referred to the tribunal for decision and authorized by law to be subject of investigation or acting by that tribunal and in favor of or against persons as or res who presents themselves or who are brought before the court in some manner sanctioned by law as proper and sufficient. Okay? So as you could see, jurisdiction. So consent works along with jurisdiction. So once you have consented and you go into the venue, they have jurisdiction over you once you acknowledge and accept that you are that legal person. Okay? That's how they trap you, because you consented. And now I'm entering into a court saying that's me. I am verbally making that contract. Now, one of the things that people do when these people send you letters claiming that you owe something, a lot of people ignore it. If I were you, I wouldn't ignore, because that means you have acquiesced. When you acquiesce to something, it means that your silence is an admittance that it's true. So take, for instance, if IRS say, well, hey, I'm sending you a letter. You owe me $20,000. If you don't respond within that allocated time that they gave you, within law, it's called acquiescence. It means that you have acquiesced to what they have said and it is true. So I always tell people, respond, because your silence means that what they are stating, it's true. So never be afraid to respond. It is how you respond is the key, is what you respond to, what you say. Okay? So never consent. Now, they will threaten you. They will, yes, basically try to coerce you, intimidate you, but never give consent. Never give consent. Never say that that straw man is you, because once you have done that, then it's a wrap, literally. Okay, you are done with. And like I said in the previous live video, never get an attorney. An attorney is never on your side. An attorney is part of the legal society. An attorney is part of the bar association, and they all work together. You see, the bad thing about it is you have these so-called judges who are not actual judges. They are magistrates, okay? A real judge is a third article judge, a three article court judge. That's a real judge. And a judge's duty is not to take sides. That is not the duty of a judge, okay? The judge is only there to make sure the proceedings go without any type of disturbances. But however, these judges these magistrates who are playing judges, they get on the stand, okay, and they tend to make decisions for people. Now, the truth of the matter is they are not making decisions for people. They are making decisions for that legal entity, because a judge is not supposed to make any decisions for a man or a woman. However, once you are in their jurisdiction as a legal person, then they make decisions. A judge is supposed to be impartial. So again, when you step into a courtroom, a venue, a building where the court is supposed to be held, you are stepping into a world that you are not familiar with. So when they tell you all these different things that sound like you are speaking English, it is not English that you're speaking. It's actual legalese. Legalese is a language. It is a language. And if you cannot speak it, do not go into a court. Okay? Do not go into a court thinking that you're speaking English. A couple of things are going to happen. You're going to end up in jail. You're going to be fined. Even when they put you on probation, They still make money because it's all about accessing your trust. Now, let me break that down for you for a second. When you were born, again, you were born a living baby, a boy or a girl. However, a birth certificate was created. Once your parents sign that, they become the informant and they send it off to the federal government. Okay, they put the stamp on it, and that number on that birth certificate is what's being traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, yes, you are a business. That's who you are. And seeing that the United States is an incorporated, it's a corporation, then every corporation have a president. That's why Donald Trump is a businessman who was put in place to deal with businesses. Now, if they tell you that the United States was built on small businesses, what do you think the small business is? The small business is every individual, every legal person who have a birth certificate that is a small business. So now they put a businessman to control the small businesses. That's why Donald Trump is the president, because he was put in place to control the business. You are the business. Now, if you don't know how to manage your business, then somebody else will handle your business for you. And as long as you have a true understanding of how this thing works, you will be able to maneuver yourself, navigate yourself through these courts, and get out of a lot of situations that these people call illegal. Yes, it is illegal, but it's not unlawful. You have to know the difference. You have to know the difference. So that capital letter, that name, if you go into your wallet right now, go into your purses, pull out your ID, your driver's license, whatever you have. Look at your name. Your name is in all capital letters. Okay? It's your legal name. The truth of the matter is, it's actually unlawful to have a legal name because no one has a name. The I am doesn't have a name. The I am is known as. That's why in the allegorical Bible, when the allegorical Moses went and asked the Creator, "What's your name?" What did the allegorical Bible God said? "I am that I am, and that shall be my name forever and ever." However, Moses went and told the people that the name is Jehovah. So it's not actually the name. It is known as Jehovah. It is known as Jesus, Buddha, Yeshua, Zeus, all these Mithra, all these different names is known as. The I am doesn't have a name. A spirit cannot have a name. So therefore, since you and I are I am, made in the likeness and image of the great I am, we don't have names. We are known as. And you don't have last names. Again, this is a trap. It's a municipal trap to get you to consent. Because there is an old maxim that says that family comes first. So if your family comes first, that means your family name should come first. So why do you have a last name? You see, that is the trick of the devil. You don't have last names because your supposed last name is your family name. So therefore, if family comes first, your surname, you have a surname, you don't have a last name. And if you look at the prefix sir, it means to be above. So your family name is above all else. So therefore, if your supposed legal name is John Doe, then the way it should be pronounced is you are actually John Doe. You are actually John of the family Doe. It is not John Doe. That is a legal name. And that makes you a legal person. You see how they have things backwards in this system? Because they want to entrap you. They want to pull you into this voluntary system of what's called servitude. So that's how they trick you into that. By getting you to accept that legal person as you. So when you were born, a trust was set up. So seeing that your birth certificate is the number on the birth certificate is being traded on the stock market all over the world, actually, you are actually worth millions, if not billions of dollars. So what they do is this: when they pull you into the courts, they cannot access your trust fund until you consent and say, this is who you are. And that's when they are able to access your trust fund also through your signature. That's why when you go to a bank, they need your signature. It is the only way to access your trust fund. So when you go into these courts and you say, this is who you are, the legal person, and they find you guilty, they have accessed your trust fund. And what they do is, to make it seem like you owe a debt, they put you behind bars, called what's called jail. So they are not putting the living man in jail or the living woman. They are putting that legal entity until they get their funds. And when they feel it's time to let you go, based on how much you're worth, okay, they will say, okay, you know what, we're going to put you in jail for 2-3 years. They are accessing those funds for 2-3 years. And that's how they get paid. So you see how you are being swindled. It's a very complicated system, but once you know how it works, you could avoid all these situations. Okay, so never consent. Never allow them to pull you into their jurisdiction. Never admit that you are that legal person. That's not you. It is not you. It is something that was created. It's fictitious. Okay, let us go look at the definition of a legal person. Let me see if I could pull that up for you guys real quick. Give me a second, all right? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm using my internet through my my hotspot, so it's a little slow here. So give me a second. All righty. Legal person. Definition of legal person. Let's see if we could get that. Here we go. Legal person. Okay, legal person, Black's Law. Okay, Black's Law Dictionary. Black's Law. Definition, overview, explains Black's Law, search Black's Law. Okay, legal person. Okay, there we go. Please be patient with me, guys. All right, thank you. All right, so here we go. Legal person, legal person, legal. Why isn't it's not coming up? Okay. All right. Google. I mean, you guys could, talk in the chat while I do this. All right. Definition of legal person. Okay, so here we go. Perfect. Great. We are actually doing this from a Cornell law school website. All right, so let me share the screen for you, and we're going to get into this real quick. Okay, so here we are. This information and the definition is from the Cornell Law School, Legal Information Institute. Legal person. This is where I'm reading from. Okay, a legal person refers to a non-human entity that is treated as a person for limited purposes. Corporations, for example. Legal persons can sue and be sued, own property, and enter into contracts. In most countries, legal persons cannot vote, marry, or hold public office. Most countries also exclude legal persons from holding natural or constitutional rights, such as the freedom of speech. Okay, so once again, here it is in plain sight. Okay, legal persons refers to a non-human entity that is treated as a person for limited purposes. Corporations, for examples. All right. So now that you see exactly what I'm talking about. So when you go to court, okay, you are a legal person once you have consented. Once you are within the jurisdiction, you are a legal person, meaning that you are a non-human being. You only exist on paper. So when you say that's you, you are literally consenting to the fact that you are not a living man or woman. So now they are abusing a non-living entity. So you think it's you because you are saying it's you. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys need further explanation and you have any questions pertaining to that particular subject, please put it in the post, because I really want to make sure that you guys get this. Okay? Really make sure that you get this. And that is how, and this is not just about American Aborigines. I'm talking about everyone with a birth certificate is a legal person. Okay? Everyone has a trust fund. And the only way for them to get paid, I'm talking about making $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month, is to access your trust fund. And that's the only way to do it, by you consenting. It's the only way. It's either verbally or through signs or through your signature. So once again, even when they put you on probation, they are still accessing your trust fund because your probation officer has to get paid. When you go to a bank and you take a loan, let's just say you go take a loan for $100,000. Where do you think that money comes from? As soon as you sign for that loan, automatically that loan is already paid for. But the bank is having you pay for it again because they are accessing that money from your trust fund through your signature. So you are paying twice, plus you're paying interest. So that's fraud. But you see, people don't know, and people perish for the lack of knowledge. When you buy your house, as soon as you sign on that dotted line, the house is automatically paid for because you gave them permission to access your trust fund that was set up for that legal entity. So the house is paid for. But they have you paying for it again, also paying what you call interest on it. So you're paying 2, 3, 4 times the amount. Again, people perish for the lack of knowledge. So you see why it's important to get a true understanding of law. The difference between law and legal. Okay? Knowing that citations, tickets, it's not a bill. It's an invitation. And you could choose not to go to that party. That's your choice. Now, again, they could try to coerce you or threaten you, and you could cave in, but you don't have to. And you could sue them for violating your right. You see, legal persons do not have constitutional rights. They have privileges, and privileges can and will be taken away. All right? They take it out of trust and also garnish our wages. Yes, they do that only because you allow them to. Only because you allow them to. These people cannot do, well, let me put it that way. These people are not supposed to do these things if you do not volunteer yourself. Okay? They are not supposed to violate your human rights. They are not supposed to. So you have to know the difference between you as a man and a woman and a legal person that you think that you are. There is a vast difference. And people are being abused, being sent to jail for years, thinking that they're actually committing crimes. They're not committing crimes. All they are doing is not upholding the statutes and codes, which you don't have to. Like literally, you don't have to, because they are not laws. They are just policies. that we have been forced to assimilate. So the more the majority of the people could get this, the more that we, the people, could get this and put those things into play and stand and make sure that these people don't violate our creator given rights, then we are going to fix these things, man. We could fix the system. But first, we have to fix ourselves. You have to fix yourself. You have to correct your status. It's important that you do. Because they have you existing on paper as a legal person, as a non-human being. So that's how they are able to sleep at night. Because they are not doing these things to a living flesh man and woman. They are doing it to a corporate entity on paper. It only exists in the paper world. You only exist in the paper world. And you are doing these things through contracts, knowingly and unknowingly. But you have every right to get out of these contracts because they were given to you without your free and prior consent. Okay? You didn't tell your mother you wanted a birth certificate. You didn't tell your mother to give you that name. She did it on her own free will. So you are not responsible or liable. However, you have accepted it. So therefore, you are held responsible. It's like having a child. If your child is a minor or what's considered a minor, if your child walked down the block and bust somebody's window of their car, who do you think they're going to come to for restitution? They're going to come to the parent, which is you. It's your responsibility. It is the same thing. The straw man, that legal entity, that all capital letter, it's your baby. Okay, it's your child. It's your responsibility. And anytime it does something, when you go into court and say that's you, then you are held liable. So I would suggest, well, for me, I would abandon that child because it's not mine. I didn't ask for a birth certificate. Okay, I was a baby. I didn't sign anything. So fraud was committed. Racketeering was committed. Genocide was committed. But again, you are taking the responsibility. You are saying, yes, that's me. And anything that legal entity does, I am the one responsible because you said it's you. So I hope that makes sense. So once again, just to summarize, okay, touching back on being an American Aborigine, a lot of people are still not convinced that we are who they call the American Indians, the first people that inhabited this landmass called the Americas. Okay, America is a continent. The United States is not America. The United States is an institution, a corporation, okay, that we gave permission to do business only in a 10-mile radius in the District of Columbia. But because of the ignorance of the people, they have extended their jurisdiction throughout the Union States, which is the 50 states. But in essence, the United States is only a 10-mile radius within the construct of what's called the District of Columbia. And of course, you know, Guam and Puerto Rico and those countries. But what you don't know will hurt you because it is hurting you. It is. So you have to know these things. So here is what we have in our favor, okay? A couple of things. Being an Aborigine is a beautiful thing, all right? Even people who are immigrants in this country, they have rights as well. But again, because of the birth certificates, everyone has become a slave. But we have those things working in our favor because we could say that before they came and established what they established, we didn't have birth certificates. We didn't have social security numbers. Social security numbers are voluntary and it's actually on the form. Paying taxes is voluntary and it's actually on the form. You are volunteering yourself into slavery. The debt that the United States owe, which is the corporation, it is not your debt. It is their debt, but they have you paying for it. And you're accepting it. It is your fault. Nobody else's but yours, because you consent. Okay? You consent. So being an Aborigine is a great thing, but you have to understand what it means and how to navigate as an Aborigine and how to navigate as a man or a woman. And stop being a legal person. Stop being a corporate citizen. Again, there's a difference. A citizen with a small c, that means you're a corporate citizen. So all these things you have to learn. All those things I'm breaking down in the book. Okay. The title of the book is Newsflash. Everyone's a slave unless. If you look in the description below, you will see the email. I'm only going to print 100 copies for now. Okay. So reserve your copy. You don't have to send any funds in. You just reserve in your copy. Okay. So once it's printed, I will send an email. If you leave your number, I will send a text or whatever. I will let you know that it's available, and you will be one of the first people to get a copy of the book, because all that information is explained in detail. Plus, I give solutions in the book. So it's a great read. So check the information, send your reservations for the book, because it's very important that we make these moves. All right. Again, it is no coincidence that a businessman, Donald Trump, was elected for president of the company, because the big corporation was built on smaller corporations, smaller entities, smaller businesses, which is you, that legal person that was established on the birth certificate. So now they put a businessman to manage you. And what they are doing, they are liquidating some assets. So in other words, and if they have to kill you to do that, they will. So when you see another so-called black man or black woman getting shot or killed, they are not killing or murdering the man or the woman. They are liquidating an asset so that they could access those funds. And that's where that term came in. You are worth more dead than you are alive. Because you are worth more dead than you are alive. Because now they could access those funds unlimitedly, deplete those trust funds, because there's nobody to contest it. Because people actually buy those bonds. They buy them. It's an investment. So you are an investment. So when they so-called kill a black man or a woman, they are liquidating their assets. Brothers and sisters, you have to really understand what's going on. They are not killing men and women. Okay? They are dissolving a corporation, which is you. I mean, I know it's inhumane. Yes, it's not moral. I get it. But that's what's happening. And it's going to continue to happen unless people, okay, correct their status and the people wake up and take back the power. That's the only way it's going to stop. Yes, you are worth more dead than you are alive. Okay? There you go. Because you are dead on paper. So you are right. It's double jeopardy. Okay? So keep in mind, again, like I said, just to reiterate and summarize the situation with Beyonce. Okay? Even an African chief is saying, hey, you know what? You're not indigenous. So why do you want to play that? Okay? Again, more proof that we are not Africans, but we are Americans, autochthon Americans, the original Americans. Okay? So you could dive more into that. So I suggest you do research on your family background. Now, a lot of times trying to trace it with the paper trail, we run into that block because, again, they literally made us extinct on paper. They made us extinct on paper. So you may have to talk to cousins, friends, family elders, or go with your spirit. Your spirit will never lie to you. Okay? Go with your spirit. Reach out to the ancestors, man. You know, ask them to guide you, show you the way. They will guide you. In seeking in truth, they will guide you. So I'm glad, I got a chance to speak on that. Also, I spoke on consent. Remember, everything is done through consent. It has to be consensual. Okay. If they do it without your consent, in other words, typical example, if a man goes out on a date with a woman and he makes advances on her and she do not consent, if she did not give sexual consent, what that's considered rape. Okay, it is the same thing. If you do not consent and they violate your right, that's called rape. Okay, they are trespassing upon your property. So you have to know those things. So never give consent. You don't have to be rude or belligerent. However, you could do it very politely. You could articulate yourself without being rude. Because to agitate a police officer, then they would say, well, you know what, resisting arrest, and they have all these erroneous claims that they make. However, if you stay calm and you know the knowledge and you know how to articulate yourself and you know how to apply it, then I promise you the situation and the outcome will be different. It will be. So that's what they are doing. They are going around liquidating their assets. Every single one of us with birth certificates is a small business. And if the business is going bad, then what they do? Some people file for bankruptcy, they liquidate the business, and that's what they're doing. And who is the better person that knows about bankruptcy than Donald Trump? The man is the king of bankruptcy. So y'all have to know what's going on, man. You got to peep the game. Know what's going on and know what's happening to you. So stop. Okay, stop making your children voluntary slaves. Stop doing that. I know you do it for privileges, but stop doing it, man. Stop, please. Okay, so never consent. Now, we spoke of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction. Okay, the key is this. The only way for me to do what I'm going to do is to bring you into my house where I have total control. So when you go into the court, if you don't know how to make the court yours, then they pull you into the jurisdiction and they get to abuse you. So they get to do what they want to do with that legal person, not the man or the woman. Remember this. Okay, you are acting. You are the man and woman acting as the legal person. It is all an act. That's why everything is done through acts. And you are the actor. So you are going to court acting as, let's just say your name is, let's just say your legal name is Thomas Jefferson. Okay, you get a ticket. Hey, Thomas Jefferson, we want you to come to court. You did this and that. The fine is $250. It's an invitation. Now, you could choose not to go. You don't have to consent. Okay, I don't want to be part of your party. I am not part of the legal system. I'm not part of the bar association. So I don't want to come to your party. Thank you for the invitation, but no thank you. Now, that's what I would say. But for most of y'all who don't know, you would go to court, okay, saying, okay, state your name, Thomas Jefferson, right there. You already owe a debt. They have already accessed that trust fund because you gave them permission. You have consented. Okay, so now the living man, Thomas Jefferson, is not the one that's being prosecuted. Okay, he is just the actor, but the role that he's playing, the legal person on paper, is the one that's being prosecuted, but he's acting as Thomas Jefferson on paper. And that's the only way they could access your funds. So if you don't ever consent or ever admit that that's you, then they cannot do anything because they cannot send a man or a woman to jail. And in law, there has to be a remedy. No man or woman is supposed to be in jail. So because they know that, they had to create a system where they could abuse the legal person and put the legal person in jail. All right? So I hope I broke that down, efficiently enough so that you guys could start redirecting your thinking. Okay, the change will happen. The change can happen. However, it has to start here. Okay, high vibes, Jazzy. It has to start here, mentally. Learn the information, study the information, learn who you are. Because these people, they are bound by oath to uphold the Constitution. But because legal persons, they don't have constitutional rights, you cannot go into court talking about, oh, well, I got constitutional rights. No, by you saying that, they could throw your ass in jail just by saying that, because you're a legal person. Only a man and a woman have rights, not a corporation. A corporation is a non-living entity. But here you go saying, oh, well, that's my name. Oh, that's me. Man, that's how you get in trouble. It is not you, family. It's not you. It's a shadow you. It's an imitation of you. It's a false you. It doesn't exist in real. It only exists on paper. And I have to stress this. Never admit that's you. I don't care if you don't know the law. Never go into a court and admit that's you. Never answer to that name. If all you could do when you go to court, when they say Thomas Jefferson, you don't answer, you don't say anything, okay? When they say it again, because you don't want them to say that you didn't appear, okay, or you didn't show up. When they call the name again, you say that, you know what? I am such and such of, I am Thomas, okay? I am Thomas of the Jefferson family, okay? I am here, but I am not that legal person. If that's all that you could say, then that's all you got to say, because you're doing two things. You are not consenting and you are not giving them jurisdiction over your property. Your body is your property. Remember, the I am in you is the spirit. Okay? The I am in you is the spirit. And the host that's hosting the spirit is your body. So your body is the property of your spirit. So I hope that makes sense. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Only you have jurisdiction over your property. Only you could do what you want with your property. No other man or woman have that right, much less a court or a venue or a building or a so-called magistrate. Again, they are acting as they have no rights over you, but you give them the right because you consent. You contract with them. So therefore, they have jurisdiction over you and they do what they feel they need to do. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to come through and drop this video for you guys. Again, opening up your mind, giving you things to think about. Okay. Reminisce on situations that you got into that and think about it. Damn, had I known this information, how differently would it have gone? Okay. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't pay tickets. Literally, I have gotten away from many tickets, but the most I've ever gotten a fine for a ticket was $3,000. Two tickets, $1,500 a piece. And I beat those. I beat it. I beat it. Just like, you know, Michael Jackson beat it. I told him to get out of here. $3,000. Because you have to know how to play the game. It's an invitation. It's a game. Come to my party. Let me get you drunk so I could rape you. That's basically, in essence, what they are saying. But you see, I don't drink. So there's no need for you to get me intoxicated for you to rape me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to play your game. But people go in there and play a game that they have no understanding. Okay, let us go look at the definition, one more definition before I get out of here. I'm going to conclude this video. I know every time I say conclude, I always go a little longer, but let me see if I could get you the definition of this. All right. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. And just so you guys know, man, I'm doing all this because, I mean, I care, man. I care because, you know, it hurts me to see and know that people are going through these things because they don't know. And it's not being taught. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's sad. So let us see if we could find that definition. Language, special language of the legal profession, specialized language. Okay. All right. So let us go look at the definition of this right here. Let me go see if I can share my screen again. Give me a second, guys. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay. So just so you know, like I told you before, hear the pronunciation again. Legalese is a language. It sounds like English, but it's not English. The definition of legalese, the specialized language of the legal profession. My brothers and sisters, legalese is a language. That's why they tell you you have a right to remain silent, because anything you say in court can and will be used against you. You think you speak in English, but in that world, it is not English. It's called legalese. And that's how you end up getting into situations, because you incriminate yourself, because you are going to say something in the streets, okay? But definitely it's something different. Now let us look at that from Google, okay? Let us look at the definition here. It says, the formal and technical language of legal documents that is often hard to understand. Why do you think lawyers go to school? Huh? Why do you think lawyers go to school for so many years? So that they could understand legalese. Huh? Why do you think that? Okay, I gotta block an idiot again. Okay, I gotta block an idiot again. Give me a second. Like I said, man, I tell you, our people are so damaged, man. It's so sad. It's so sad that people are so damaged. But you know what, man? Y'all gonna get what y'all got coming to y'all. I'm telling you, because y'all gonna perish for real. Y'all are just so damaged, mentally ill. It's a disease. So once again, brothers and sisters, you see, legalese is a complete different language. It's very hard to understand. So don't even waste your time trying to learn it, because you will never learn it. I don't want to learn legalese. I don't want to speak legalese. So one of the things that I do and I put in documents when I go to court is to let them know that I do not speak legalese. I'm an idiot when it comes to legalese. I am not a part of the legal society. I'm not part of the bar association. Therefore, I do not wish to contract with you. Okay? So I know, man, again, those are just, and then it's our people, man. It's our own people. Believe it or not, it's people that look just like us. You know what I'm saying? It's people that look just like us, man. And it's sad. It's really sad. We are the ones that are responsible for where we are at right now because of low vibrational people, bottom feeders. That's what they are. They literally manifested here. They manifested here to cause confusion because they want to prevent you from attaining a higher level of understanding. And that's part of the duality, the world that we came into. You know what I'm saying? Jazzy, you know what? It's all good, man. I'm going to just block them. That's all. You know, I'm going to just block them. You know, it's all good. I don't let these people bother me because, like I said, I already know our people are damaged. They are damaged. They are very hateful towards their own. Okay? And that's why when certain things happen to people, for me, and please do not take this the wrong way, I don't feel sorry, man, because honestly, people, you know, people are just so wicked. You know, they're just so wicked, evil. You know, here I am giving information that could literally save people's lives, prevent them from going to jail, prevent them from paying fines that they are not supposed to pay, showing them how to protect their rights. And you coming on here being disrespectful. I'm just telling you, man. That's sad. That's absolutely sad. And it's the people who look just like you that you call brothers and sisters every day. That's why I am very mindful of who I call my brother and my sister. I don't trust people no more, man. I'm telling you. They have to earn that trust. They have to earn it. And I'm keeping it real. Anytime they come to me for anything, they have to pay, period. Because they don't appreciate the things that people like me do. They don't. So I'm not going to allow people to use me anymore. I'm going to continue to teach. I'm going to continue to give the information, give you stuff so that you could research and learn and learn to protect yourself. I'm going to continue to share the information because I care. I care. I genuinely love people. And I am tired of the pain that people are going through, particularly my people, because of their ignorance, because they don't know. And sometimes it's not even their fault because they were not taught it. So that's why I take the time to do what I do. I don't have to do this, but I choose to do it. So I'm going to deal with everything that comes along with it. But I want people to know that you have to be respectful. Okay? You have to be respectful. Honestly, that's right, twin. I don't trust people no more, man, because people are just mean for no reason. People get up every day and just be, you know what? Man, I'm just going to be mean. I'm going to be evil. It's a choice. Everything is voluntary. You don't have to be that way. Jealousy and envy, that's what it is. You know, animosity for no reason. And it's sad, man. Again, I don't have to. I don't have to answer any question if I don't feel I have to answer any question. Again, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man, and I don't have to answer to anybody. And I tell people this: y'all could talk as much as you want, as long as nobody touch me. I'm good, because you have a right to speak. You have freedom of speech, and I respect it. But as long as nobody touches me physically, then we don't have any problems. Because anytime you see me anywhere in the street and you touch me, I'm going to destroy you. And believe me, no court of law is going to convict me for defending myself. Trust me, I know the law too well. I promise you that. I could guarantee you that. Because y'all think because I'm being so cool, I'm a punk. I'm not a punk. I just like taking the higher road. So I'm here to teach people. Okay? I'm here to give information so that my people could protect themselves from these vampires. But don't get it confused. Okay? Please. You could talk as much as you want, say exactly whatever you want. I don't care. As long as people see me in the streets and give and respect, man, that's it. As long as you don't touch me and come up into my energy field, okay, and disrespect my space, I'm good. Because I promise you, I will defend myself. And no court on earth is going to convict me for that. Believe that. So once again, like I said, again, people who have nothing better to do, and that's what they're going to continue to do. So once again, fam, you know, the information is important, okay? It is very important to know that information to protect your children, all right? Our children are being drugged, okay, through this system, a system that was created only for monetary purposes, okay? They're not putting you in so-called jail because you committed a crime, okay? Not paying a ticket is not a crime. Not paying child support is not a crime. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not condone people not taking care of their children. That's not what I'm saying, but it's not a crime, okay? Not having a driver's license is not a crime. Not paying taxes is not a crime. All those things are voluntary. Not registering a car is not a crime. Those things are voluntary. But yet still our people are being put in jail because they don't know. People perish for the lack of knowledge. And that's what's happening right now. So I'm giving you the information so that you can start looking into it. Know that there is a way out. Know that. You don't have to be subjected into perpetual slavery. You don't have to. It's a choice. You wake up every single day and make that decision, whether it's voluntary or not voluntary, involuntary, but whether you are aware of it or not. That's what you're doing. Okay? That's what you're doing. So you have to know how to navigate through this system, the game that they play. You have to learn to navigate through it. All right? So hopefully that information that I've given you today helps. You will do more research on it. You know, you have to learn to study, protect yourself. All right? Don't let them take advantage of you. Don't let them put fear into you. Oh, well, if you don't do this, we're going to put you in jail. Now, they cannot put a man or a woman in jail. They could only put a legal entity. And as long as you never accept that title of being that legal name, they are not supposed to touch you. If they do, then they are violating your constitutional right. Okay? But anytime you accept the term of being that legal person, then they have a right to do what they want with you. Again, it's not moral, but they have a right because you are their property. You are subject to their jurisdiction. All right? You know, while his latest video is awful, you should check it. I mean, I have seen the Gambino video. I didn't know what to make of it, honestly. A lot of people say they like it. They say that it has a lot of subliminal messages. For me, I don't know. I really don't know how to decipher that one. Maybe he's saying that that's what's happening in America today, and not necessarily saying that's what we should be. So I don't know. You know, I'm not going to be judgmental, but again, it's based on the interpretation of what you think the message is in the video. A lot of people say they like it. I don't know. Maybe I need to look at it again and really, you know, see what he's saying. Okay, or try to, you know, break it down, analyze what he's saying. All right. So I'm going to take a look at it again because somebody did send it to me. All right. Yeah. So, but as you know, man, this whole music industry, those people, entertainers, those people are people that sold out. So sometimes, you know, they give some type of subliminal truth, but then on the other hand, they send out messages to indoctrinate our people, especially the youth. So I tend not to look at them too much or pay attention to what they do or say. You know what I mean? I look at the hard facts. I deal with laws and I deal with what's natural, what's organic. All right. So for me, I know that I'm a man made in the likeness and image of my creator. So no man or woman or any corporate entity have a right to control me. And that's just how I would rather go out. You know, if they have to take my physical body, fine, so be it. But I'm not going to sell out. I'm not going to be a subject to anything or anyone, period. You know what I mean? And I'm going to defend myself by any means necessary. I've said that before and I'll say it again. All right? So because you look like me, it doesn't mean that you're my brother or my sister. I don't trust y'all. Okay? People have to learn to earn my trust because I've been through too much with people who look like me. And I'm not going to go through it again. But I will continue to teach. I will continue to give the information. Okay? That's it, period. And like I said, anybody in the street that breathe on me too hard, I'm going to take action first. Okay? Because I don't play. Seriously, I don't play. All right? So, family, I'm about to get out of here. And once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please research the information. And once again, the link is below for the book. Send in for your reservations. It has a lot of information, man. Again, it has a lot of great information, breaking those things down in detail, exactly when it happened, who made it happen, where, how, why, and some solutions. And I could only give you the solutions based on what I've done, and that has been working thus far. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing, and more moves are being made. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and once again, thank you for the positive energy and the continued support. All right, much love, peace and love, family, and we will talk soon. Enjoy the rest of your night, and may you continue your journey with peace, love, harmony, and light. And regardless of what happens, okay, continue to love. Don't allow negative energy to infiltrate who you truly are. Okay, let us continue to let our light shine. Because remember, we live in a world of duality. Okay, without love, there wouldn't be hate. All right, and that's just the truth of the matter. Okay, so for us to manifest who we are in love, these people have to manifest themselves in hate. I hope you get it. They cannot help it. They came here to hate. That's just what it is. All right, so I accept them for who they are. And whatever they put out into the universe, that's what they're going to get back. So I don't have to do anything. The Most High is going to take care of them. The ancestors they're going to take care of them. So I'm not worried about it. So I love you guys, and we will talk soon. All right. Peace and love.